Vince McMahon is one of the world's richest people with a net worth of $2.7 billion. Vince McMahon's father separated from his mother when he was still a baby. Vince McMahon grew up without seeing his biological father again until he turned 12. When McMahon joined his father's company, it was a successful business, controlling about 70% of NWA's bookings. In 1971, McMahon accepted an assignment as promoter for the WWF in Maine. Later in 1982, McMahon, through Titan Sports, acquired his father's company, WWF. In 1985, McMahon made a risky gamble when he organized the first WrestleMania. In 1991, WWF stars including Hulk Hogan, Brian Blair, and Roddy Piper testified that they had bought steroids from a WWF physician. In April 1999, McMahon created another WWF program, SmackDown, to compete with WCW's Thunder. In 2002, McMahon changed the name of his company to World Wrestling Entertainment, or WWE. McMahon retired as chairman and CEO of WWE in July 2022, and today the federation has been turned into a multi-billion-dollar world's largest wrestling company. Vince McMahon is one of the world's richest people with a net worth of $2.7 billion according to Forbes. He is the majority owner of the world's largest wrestling company, WWE. The company's revenue is around $1.1 billion, and its market cap is around $6 billion. Interestingly, only 900 employees run this giant company. If you do a comparative analysis, Yelp, whose revenue is the same as WWE, has 4,400 employees. Another example is burger giant Shake Shack, whose revenue is a little less than WWE but has over 6,100 employees. Want to know how Vince McMahon built this huge empire of wrestling? Watch the full video. We at Business Chronicles tell the stories of extraordinarily successful people. Please subscribe to our channel to help us in making more videos. Vincent Kennedy McMahon was born on August 24, 1945 in Pinehurst, North Carolina. He was the younger son of Vincent James McMahon and Victoria Hanner. Both his father and grandfather, Roderick James McMahon, were wrestling promoters. Vince McMahon's father separated from his mother when he was still a baby. The young McMahon grew up with his mother and his stepfathers. He had a difficult childhood. One stepfather, Leo Lupton, was physically abusive toward his mother and even attacked the young Vincent when he protected his mother. Vince McMahon grew up without seeing his biological father again until he turned 12. When he saw him again as a wrestling promoter, McMahon was instantly captivated by the business. He even began accompanying his father on trips to Madison Square Garden. McMahon went to Fishburne Military School in Waynesboro, Virginia. He was dyslexic but was able to graduate in 1964. After high school, he enrolled at East Carolina University, graduating with a business administration degree in 1968. After graduating college, Vince McMahon spent some time working as a traveling salesman before turning back to the family business. At the time, his father owned the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, or WWF, which promoted wrestling shows in northeastern US. The wrestling business back then was segmented. There were different companies promoting wrestling events in their territories, but they all worked under the banner of the National Wrestling Alliance, or NWA. All companies limited their promoting and business to their regions and did not venture into other companies' territories. When McMahon joined his father's company, it was a successful business, controlling about 70% of NWA's bookings. This was because it controlled the heavily populated northeastern US market. His father even sat on NWA's board of directors. In 1969, McMahon joined WWF as a wrestling announcer. His job was to announce the names of wrestlers as they came into the ring. He also helped out with promotions. He wanted to become a wrestler himself, but his father disapproved of it, stating that promoters should not wrestle. In 1971, McMahon accepted an assignment as promoter for the WWF in Maine. There, he promoted his first card. Later that year, he became a ringside commentator for television matches following the resignation of Ray Morgan. He held the role until 1997. As a commentator, McMahon was the voice of the fans and often sat beside heel color commentators like Bobby Heenan, Jesse Ventura, and Jerry Lawler. In the 1970s, he helped his father promote wrestling to bigger audiences and was instrumental in organizing the Muhammad Ali vs. Antonio Inoki fight in 1976. He helped his father triple WWF's TV syndications, and in 1979 called for the company's renaming from WWF to World Wrestling Federation. In February 1980, McMahon founded Titan Sports. 2 years later, in 1982, McMahon, through Titan Sports, acquired his father's company, WWF. 2 years later, in 1984, McMahon's father died after a long illness. After acquiring WWF, McMahon left NWA, signaling that he would not abide by the governing body's segmentation of the wrestling business. While WWF was doing well in the northeastern U.S. market, McMahon wanted to build a national brand. He began promoting fights nationally, invading other promoters' territories. He even signed talents from other companies. An example is when he lured Hulk Hogan in 1984 from American Wrestling Federation. Hogan went on to become WWF's megastar, directed his huge nationwide following to WWF. McMahon did not stop there. He developed the Rock and Wrestling Connection, incorporating pop stars into wrestling storylines, and then partnered with MTV to bring the concept to millions of homes in the country. This brought WWF before bigger audiences, widening its appeal. McMahon even began selling WWF videotapes in other U.S. territories, and with the new revenue coming in, signed more big stars into his company. He signed names such as Rowdy Roddy Piper, Jesse Ventura, Tito Santana, Brutus Beefcake, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. In 1985, McMahon made a risky gamble when he organized the first WrestleMania. He marketed the event as the Super Bowl of Wrestling, making it available in pay-per-view and closed-circuit television. To bring in more viewers, he roped in celebrities like Cyndi Lauper and Mr. T to participate. The event was a resounding success and ushered in the golden age of wrestling. The golden age ran successfully throughout the late 1980s. In 1987, at WrestleMania 3, McMahon set a record for the highest indoor attendance, bringing in 93,173 people to the Pontiac Silverdome. The success of WrestleMania inspired McMahon to create more pay-per-view events like Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. The golden age of wrestling for WWF came to an end in the early 1990s with the arrival of World Championship Wrestling, which was formed after several promotion companies came together to form Jim Crockett Promotions, and the company was then bought by media mogul Ted Turner. Turner invested heavily into WCW, siphoning fans away from WWF, which at the time was facing legal headwinds. In 1991, WWF stars including Hulk Hogan, Brian Blair, and Roddy Piper testified that they had bought steroids from a WWF physician. In 1993, McMahon was indicted owing to his connection with a physician. At the same time, a former female referee, Rita Chatterton, accused McMahon of sexual harassment. In 1993, McMahon ceded control of WWF to his wife Linda so as to focus on his legal case. That same year, WWF launched its flagship Monday Night Raw, which aired on USA Network. In 1994, McMahon was exonerated on the charges and returned to daily running of WWF. Unfortunately, WWF had suffered considerable bad publicity at the time, which hurt revenues. McMahon was forced to slash salaries of wrestlers and other staff by as much as 40%. This caused many of them to leave WWF and sign with WCW. Some of the wrestlers who left included Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall. With its new talent, WCW launched Monday Nitro on TNT in 1995, kickstarting the Monday Night Ratings war between itself and WWF. WCW dominated Monday Night Ratings for about 2 years. Recognizing that he needed to revamp WWF, McMahon began promoting a new fast-paced style of wrestling. He even incorporated hardened, adult-oriented storylines into WWF, fostering a period of edgy wrestling called the Attitude Era. Some of the stars that emerged from this era include The Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Shawn Michaels. Others came later like Triple H, Kane, and The Rock. These stars gave WWF a new lease on life, skyrocketing its popularity. In April 1999, McMahon created another WWF program, SmackDown, to compete with WCW's Thunder. In October 1999, McMahon took WWF public, selling 10 million shares of the company at $17 each. In March 2001, McMahon led the acquisition of a financially troubled WCW, ending the Monday Night Wars. In 2002, McMahon changed the name of his company to World Wrestling Entertainment, or WWE. In 2003, he acquired Extreme Championship Wrestling, effectively making WWE the dominant wrestling promotion company. In 2008, McMahon transitioned WWE away from the Attitude Era, calling for more sophisticated content that would appeal to family audiences. The move made WWE more appealing to corporate sponsors. From 1997 to 2022, McMahon served as chairman and CEO of WWE, and even got into the wrestling ring to fight. He was part of many WWE storylines, including memorable feuds with Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, and Bobby Lashley. He took part in 57 matches, winning 28, losing 21, and drawing 8. He was a one-time WWF champion and won the Royal Rumble in 1999. As a chairman and CEO, he oversaw the establishment of WWE Films in 2002, WWE Niagara Falls Retail in 2002, WWE Extreme Championship Wrestling in 2006, WWE Next in 2010, and WWE Network, a video-on-demand streaming service, in 2014. McMahon retired as chairman and CEO of WWE in July 2022. He was 76 years old. As of November 2022, WWE creates 7 hours of programming every week. Its programs air in 150 countries around the world and are broadcast in 30 different languages, reaching more than 900 million homes. WWE holds over 500 events annually and rakes in about $1 billion in revenue. McMahon has a net worth of $2.7 billion according to Forbes. In 1979, McMahon bought the Cape Cod Buccaneers of the Atlantic Coast Hockey League. In 1990, McMahon established the World Bodybuilding Federation. However, it was not a success and he folded it in 1992. In 2000, he launched XFL, a football league. It began in 2001 but eventually ended after one season because of bad ratings. He tried to resurrect it in January 2018, but eventually it went bankrupt in April 2020. A philanthropist, McMahon has donated millions of dollars over his career. He has supported the Special Olympics since 1986. In 2006, he donated $2.5 million to build a tennis ground in Evansburg, Pennsylvania. And in 2008, he donated $8 million to institutions such as Sacred Heart University, East Carolina University, and the Fishburne Military School. As WWE CEO and chairman, McMahon supported the U.S. military and several children's charities. One of the charities he partnered with was the Make-A-Wish Foundation of America. In 2005, he was named a member of the foundation's National Advisory Council in honor of his 20 years of continued support. McMahon also has his own foundation which has donated to the Breast Cancer Alliance and Boys and Girls Club of Stamford, Connecticut. Vincent McMahon's life was not easy in his childhood. His father always kept negative vibes and he was toxic, but that changed when he grew up and met him as a wrestling promoter. He followed in his father's footsteps and became a professional wrestler. Wrestling was the perfect place to escape his life problems. Every punch hit by his opponents made him realize that life is all about being hit by a punch. His father started a wrestling federation which Vincent McMahon utilized and worked hard to expand, and today the federation has been turned into a multi-billion-dollar world's largest wrestling company. Thank you for watching our video. Subscribe to our channel to watch more videos like this.